This is the Air Conservation Commission meeting. Welcome, everyone. It is Thursday, June 23rd, 2022. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, in accordance with Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, the OML, public bodies otherwise governed by the OML are temporarily relieved from the requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate alternative means. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by joining Zoom. The ID number is 840-4058-0886, or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Conservation Commission at concom@ayer.ma.us or by calling 978-772-8220, extension 143 prior to the meeting. Commissioners in attendance this evening are Jeremiah as member, George Bacon as member, Jess Gugino as member clerk, Mark Phillips as vice chair, myself, John Schmallenberger as chair, and we have with us Heather Hansen as our conservation agent. So welcome, everyone. And do we have confirmation of agenda? Okay, I guess we have confirmation of agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it was moved. Actually, was it by you, Jess, first?
Oh, we'll give it to George.
Okay, it
He's
was
on
moved by George
internet delay.
Bacon. It was seconded by Mark Phillips. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
You got a wicked delay on you there, George. Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right, do we have approval of meeting minutes for June 9th, 2022? Everyone had an opportunity to look over the minutes. Any discussion or changes? Hearing none, then is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes for June 9th, 2022 as written?
So moved.
Second.
All right, it was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
And chair votes aye, passes unanimously. And this is the time in our meeting where we ask for public input. If there is anyone out there viewing or listening that has something that they would like to say, a question for the commission, now's the time.
I have a quick comment. Ann Gagnon from Mass Fish and Wildlife.
Good evening, Ann.
Marion Stoddard was having a difficult time trying to join. And I was thinking that in the future, it might be very helpful for some people if on your website you could put a link that someone could just, hit the link and automatically join the Zoom meeting.
Is that possible to do? I don't know.
Yeah, many other towns do that.
Cindy, can you comment on that?
Yes, that is possible to do that. We typically have not done that because we get a lot of spammers in our meetings that way. But we could certainly try doing that again, absolutely.
Or if there was a way that, if parties were interested, they could, I don't know, request from the conservation agent or something, can you send me the link or something like that? Because I know for older people, sometimes it's really difficult to figure out how to.
Right, and a
join.
lot of people do request the meeting links, and we do send them right along whenever they do.
Oh,
So, you know, we could do it either way or both ways.
okay,
Let me
great.
just make a note of that.
Appreciate that.
Okay.
I'm guessing it would be better to request the information than to have a link in our webpage. I guess it
So we
seems
did
like.
that early on and we were sorry.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Maybe, maybe we could try it again.
Not the
Okay.
way the world's going.
The way the world is going. It's
Yep.
all good. All right, we'll look into that. Thank you for that comment.
Man.
Any other
She is.
public input? There's Marion. Okay, then hearing none, we will move on to our first item this evening is a discussion on the Conservation Restriction Management Plan, North County Land Trust, and Town Manager Robert Pontbriand. I see that Robert is with us this evening, looking well, and I see Anna Wilkins is with us as well. How are you?
Thank you. Good, Mr. Chairman, and I just through you to the commission. Good evening, and thank you for having us this evening. And I think this is an exciting opportunity and partnership, not only for the Conservation Commission, but for the town of Ayer with the North County Land Trust. I know the commission, I think, is very familiar with the North County Land Trust and its proven track record and expertise in this area. And some time ago, actually before the pandemic even began, which seems like 25 years ago, I had a conversation with Anna Wilkins, and good evening, Anna, and folks at North County Land Trust at the time with Joanne and others, looking for opportunities in which the town could partner with North County Land Trust on various land issues and so forth. And one of the areas was the area of conservation restrictions. As the commission is aware, this is an opportunity, I think, to partner with the expertise of the North County Land Trust to sort of get the conservation restrictions in place and in order. And that's not a criticism of the commission. And the commission, through this partnership, is not in any way relinquishing, its authority or decision-making authority and process with the conservation restriction. So about a year ago, we began the discussions about entering into a contract with the North County Land Trust, specifically focused on their professional services with respect to the town of Ayer's Conservation Commission and the Conservation Commission's conservation restrictions. And I believe all of you should have a copy of the professional service agreement that's gone back and forth between my office and Anna's office. And I know that the commission at a previous meeting had reviewed and had offered input and questions and so forth, which are reflected in sort of what we're calling the final version. So before I, through Mr. Chair, turn it back to you and of course to Anna and others with the important substance of the issue, I just want to say that from my vantage point, the contract is in good order and in good form. As the commission is aware, town meeting did authorize up to $10,000 for FY23 for this agreement. I think in just talking with you, Mr. Chair, and some other commissioners and with Anna, we see this as sort of a first step in the beginning of a ongoing partnership. So I would, from my vantage point, see this going beyond the first year, and we would evaluate, if additional funding may be needed, for next year as we start the budget process. But I think this is a good start in that area. So I appreciate the opportunity to address the commission on this because it's something that I feel very strongly and I'm very supportive as is the select board in the town. So again, Mr. Chair, after tonight's discussion, as far as from my office's point of view, the contract is in good form and is ready to be executed, and funding would become available as of July 1st. And just one housekeeping issue, because the dates changed on page 4 of the agreement. It has the sort of the schedule of payments. We just need to update those dates, but in talking with the finance manager, there's no issue at all with North County Land Trust billing us on a quarterly basis, and we would obviously pay quarterly for those deliverables. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Chair, and I look forward to working with the commission and Heather and Anna and all the folks at North County Land Trust on this exciting project, and I'm sure there'll be some future opportunities as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert, for all your hard work that you've done for us. Anna, is there anything that you'd like to say to us?
Well, hello, everybody.
Hi.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm very appreciative of everybody's hard work to get us here. So I guess, some other exciting news is that our Director of Land Protection retired, and Joanne Christoph applied for the position and was awarded that position. So she'll be working with us, a familiar face and talent for you all. But also I wanted to introduce Emily Merlino, who's our stewardship coordinator for North County Land Trust, and she will be doing some of the field work for us. And so I wanted to introduce her to everyone. She's been doing our baselines and monitoring. So that's Emily. Yeah, and I guess I'll let you lead the agenda, John, but certainly I'd love to figure out what our first quarter might look like starting July 1st.
Sure.
Do we have a signed contract yet, or has that been finalized?
I guess maybe that's the first order of business. We can sign that. Town of Ayer. I think that the only thing that needs to be updated is the schedule of payments.
Okay.
And I was just confirming that it's okay from the town's finance department point of view, that the quarterly is okay.
Yes, Mr.
And
Chair.
if that's fine, then that's fine.
Yeah, so Mr. Chair, just through you, we're all set on the contract. I think the purpose tonight, to Jess's question, is obviously if there were any, final questions or minor changes that the commission wanted, not to speak for Anna, but tonight would be the night for it. But we're ready to sign it. So after tonight's meeting, unless there's some fundamental issue, to Anna's point, we're going to just update on page 4, as I mentioned, the payment schedule, which will be quarterly, which is more of a housekeeping thing. We'll update that. And if the commission's on board, tomorrow I will sign it, send it over to Anna, she'll sign it, and we'll get a hard copy to the commission. And as far as the funding is available as of July 1st, which is basically next week, and we can sort of begin the work. So I think we're in good shape, but I appreciate tonight the commission sort of, having the final say before we do that.
One question.
Go ahead, Jess.
Okay, and just to confirm that the copy of the contract, just above the payment for services section, there's the description of services. And that was updated to include Panther Place and Air Solar 2. And was that updated to include those?
It's not on this draft.
Yeah, I don't see it on
Yeah,
mine.
so there's a lot of edits on this, so I don't think we have
Yeah.
the final. At least
Okay.
what's in the packet has a lot of edits I think needs to happen.
Great. Is Is that what we can do at this meeting?
Yeah,
So do we have the one that includes Panther Place? That can be sent immediately or what? Or-
Yes. So just, I'm comfortable with Robert going ahead and signing it as long as the copy has the additional areas, because I know Solar 2 and Panther Place are two that we had discussed wanting to move forward on, the ones that are currently in development before we lose those developers and they
Mhm.
get out of town. So
So it's the three: Shaker Mill, Pond, Panther Place, Air, Solar 2.
Shaker Mill is there. It's Panther Place and Solar 2, Air Solar 2. Stratton Hill is actually already there.
yeah.
Jess, do you
Oh,
possibly have an
and
electronic copy, Jess, of the one you're
Uh,
talking about that you could share with us?
no, I don't. And then the third one was Orion Place. Although that one's less of a priority at the moment.
Do you want, Mark, were you saying that to share on the screen right now?
Correct.
I can do that.
That'd
Okay.
be awesome. Thank you.
Oh, somebody needs to enable.
Yeah, let me turn that on for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome. And you're all set?
Okay. Let's see here. Oops, gotta make this bigger. And I'll make this bigger. So right now, this is,
Yeah, so
You would
after
want-
Stratton Hill, I think we would need Air Solar
Yeah.
2
Mhm.
and then Panther Place. And one more. Orion
Yeah.
Place,
Orion Place, yeah.
O-R-O-N,
O-N.
O-R-I-O-N, yep.
Mhm.
A terrible.
So I thought we talked about this last time. Maybe I'm remembering it in my head and I did not speak it at all to anybody. But this isn't a description of services. This is merely a description of the current status. So this doesn't tell us anything of what North County Land Trust is doing. So we need to get that clarified.
Yes, and when in our meetings in the past with Joanne, I think from her point of view, there were a few different, buckets of tasks that she could see us or being of help to her. And it was never clear what was the highest priority. So one would be record keeping, just making sure that the existing conservation areas have all of the necessary records in one spot, and that there's appropriate backup for all of the legal information and monitoring reports, et cetera, or baseline documentation, that sort of thing. So that could be one deliverable. Then there's also working on conservation restrictions, annual monitoring versus baseline reports. So
And I appreciate that, Anna, and that's totally fine. All I'm just trying to understand is, you can see on this table right now, there's some yeses, there's some nos, there's some blanks, there's question marks. Is the intent of the services that every one of these boxes will have a yes in it by the end of the year?
No, it
no,
can't be done
Okay.
by the end of the year, Mark.
Okay,
This
so
is ongoing.
so that's what I'm saying, is we're not describing what we're intending, or at least trying to move forward with, and so we need to describe the services.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with you. And that's why I'm very happy to be here to hear from you all what is the highest priority and what do you want to see happen in the next 12 months.
Okay, and so I guess, and I'm just thinking in like my head, what I believe would make sense. But let's take, for instance, as just described, we currently have developers around on site that we'd like to take care of everything with them before they pack up their suitcases and leave. So if that's the case, let's just take Panther Place as a for instance. So the expectation would be, let's say Q1, we'd like to see the baseline documentation put together. So maybe we put a Q1 in that baseline documentation box. The monitoring and enforcement plan gets identified by Q4. Or maybe it's the monitor and enforcement plan is implemented by Q4, but maybe the plan is put together in Q3. I guess that's what I'm envisioning. And I'm just asking others on the commission, is that too far off base? Does that make sense to you or not?
Are you talking Q4, like Q4, Q3?
Yeah, exactly. Q4, Q3. And I think we also need to update the billing at the bottom that's highlighted, as Robert was describing. I believe Q1 should be July through September. That's our first quarter of the fiscal
Yeah,
year.
that's what they're talking about updating.
Okay, all right. Yep.
I would probably, because we don't know how much work is going to go into each of these, and it's the first year of the contract. I'd be hesitant to say this has to be finalized in Q2 or whatever. I think we sort of are going to be seeing how this goes the first year. And
Understood. I mean, we should set targets at least.
targets. And I think that's why we talked about this at our last two meetings to see what were our immediate priorities. And we were, at our last meeting, we were talking about, getting the ones currently in development, Shaker Mill Pond for sure. And then Panther Place and Solar 2, getting those started. And the CRs working on in place. And then also starting like the baseline monitoring for some of them. George, I think you had said that, Kohler Place has everything in place, but we haven't started any monitoring. So that would be a good one this first year to get going on monitoring. But I think, our initial priorities, we sort of already discussed of like Panther Place, Solar 2, Shaker Mill Pond, which does need it because they've started selling houses there. And then getting some of the, getting the CRs in place as much as we can, getting the baseline documentation put together, and then where we can start some monitoring. But I believe
Right.
North County,
And I agree with that, but
Yeah.
But I guess let's put this list maybe in a priority format. Right now, it is just somewhat free form. So if we want to say that Kohler Place, again, and it could just be that the first year, maybe we just say, enforcement plan and implementation is Q1 through Q4, basically first year, or FY23 as Anna has it. That's great too. But right now we're not giving, I feel this document should provide some of that
Okay.
direction, as opposed to having, going back and forth multiple times with Anna and the rest of the team, and, them taking it bit by bit. So I thought we were updating this to include the discussion we had last time, and that's where I'm confused.
okay.
Anna, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Yeah. In your estimation, is it possible to do Shaker Mill Pond and Ayer Solar 2 and Panther Place through completion in 1 year?
Well, not having all the details.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a
But
sense of
they-
how much you think you can get done.
Right, yeah. And I should say that we have a finite a number of hours that we can
Right.
allot to this, to Air.
Yep.
And certainly, the Shaker Mill Pond, Air Solar 2, Panther Place, Orion, I'm assuming those are all CRs in progress, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So if the conservation restrictions have been drafted, or if they haven't been drafted, it depends on, do we need to survey? Where are we in that process? So I would say, if looking at those projects and making sure that the conservation restrictions are all in good order for those projects,
Could I ask one question?
that could be one thing, is to assess all of those,
Yeah.
maybe in Q1,
Mm-hmm.
especially with Joanne. That shouldn't take too long to assess what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And then in concert with you all, figure out what makes sense in terms of, what does the horizon look like at that point?
Yeah, and I think in the one thing that concerns me is so $10,000, $70 an hour, that's 140 hours. It's less than a month for a person. So there's not a lot of time allotted in $10,000. So I'd like to accomplish something, so give you some very defined parameters, like, let's work on this, this, and this.
Yep.
And take those, as John said, like soup to nuts, and try and take those to the end and see what we get out of the 10 grand, I guess is where I'm headed. Because like you said, there's not a lot of funds there, and they'll get burned through pretty quick, I think.
Could
Yeah.
I ask one question?
Yes, Jess.
Yeah, Anna, I think you'd know this. What's the status with the state reviewing CRs and because you can only take them so far right now, right? Not to full.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't have they have not hired the replacement CR reviewer. So right now, actually, they brought Irene Del out of retirement. So she's now reviewing the conservation restrictions. And I believe the conservation land tax credit person,
Yeah.
whose name's slipping my mind, he's also reviewing conservation restrictions. So the conservation land tax credit program is also backed up.
Yeah,
And that's beyond our control, but
great.
I think if they're pretty good about getting at least a little bit of feedback.
Yep.
So
So what's
if we focus, John, like you said, in Jess, Panther Place, Air Solar 2, and Shaker Mill, and if we look to fill in yeses on all three, all four of these boxes for those three sites, do we want to focus there, start there, and then see where we're at? And if there's money left over at the end, that Anna, Joanne, and Emily have, then we move on from there. And they can obviously give us a status, hey, we're nearly done with your priorities, and we've only burned through, 7 grand. So what's next? Let us know, and we can start to look at that. Does that sound at least like something that we could lay out here in this document that we sign?
Mr. Chairman, this is Robert.
Yes, sir.
I agree with Mark's approach. I think that for the purposes of tonight, that we identify the initial, break this down, identify the initial goals and projects and benchmarks that are realistic. And I just want to stress, as we're putting this together, as I said in the beginning, as a first step, from my vantage point, I view this as a multi-year effort. And obviously, in terms of the FY23 budget and the funding and in competition for funding and so forth, we were able to do 10,000 this year. I just want to stress that I foresee us continuing this, into the next year and getting additional funding as we move forward. So I think Mark is right. I think we should set a scope that's realistic, a first step for the 10,000, in the year that we have, and then build upon that in year 2.
And if we have to go back to town meeting every year to ask for funds, it'd be nice to have some real definite accomplishment.
Right.
to
Right.
talk about.
I envision this, I mean, the commission will submit its budgets as you always do, but I envision this as a standing item within the conservation budget moving forward. And I also don't necessarily envision it being, just $10,000, say next year, but we'll cross that bridge as we move forward.
Mark, you had mentioned that there were a number of edits in this document.
Well,
What other ones were
The
there?
the main edit being the table, and like, let's lay out the detail. Again, I would say the description of services is not what we're showing here in Exhibit A. This again should be description of, current status or something like that, or however you want to place it. We can describe the services in a separate paragraph, maybe bulleted, as we just said, Stratton Hill looking to fill in, every one of these boxes. Let's say, I'm sorry, did I say Stratton Hill? Chicker Mill Pond, Air Solar 2, and Panther Place. Those are the 3 targets for this fiscal year. Robert already said he's editing the payments for the Q1 and such like that. At the very top of the document, it has the date as of, if you go back up to the very first page, yeah, so it's dated here as June 23rd, but then it goes on to say in paragraph, where is it? The term number 2. So the term of this agreement is from the date that's above, which again, do we not want to have the date be, it's from the beginning of our fiscal year, July 1st through June 30th, and not the same day, because then that becomes 366 days. So there's just some, I know, I'm just a stickler for detail, but that just doesn't play out properly, I think. And I just, and Jess, I don't know, I must have missed these. I had a lot of coffee today, so I'm really fired up.
All right. That's great. We're gonna get a lot done. Okay, is there a suggested edit? I'm just trying to, I love working meetings. I'm gonna send this to Robert and I know he'll appreciate that.
Yeah, I would just say that the term of this agreement shall be annual, from the beginning of the fiscal year to the end of the fiscal year.
Okay.
As simple as that.
Okay. And it's good that our fiscal years are aligned, so it's helpful.
Or we could
Yeah, I
say
was just
the
gonna
beginning of
say,
Ayer, the town of Ayer's fiscal year to the end of it.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
George, do you
perfect.
have any thoughts?
What did you
No,
say?
I
Jen?
agree with Mark's approach.
Yep. How about you, Jen?
Yeah, same. I mean, I think it's similar to kind of what we discussed at our last meeting, so I'm satisfied with how things are going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then wherever we're referencing services, let's just make sure it's pointing to the services as we're describing them in the, let's say, the bulleted list, however that wants to be classified. But just make sure that we're identifying Exhibit A is really, it's the current status and not the services.
And just so that we don't come off as asses,
I know.
that first bullet, asses project.
Oh, sorry. Oh, gosh, ESS. Oh, sorry. Gosh.
That would just be
Okay.
me, I suppose, right?
No.
That was funny.
Oh, I hope you never let me live that down.
No, that'll keep coming up.
Yeah.
Uh, Anna, what else do you need from us?
Can I also just add in one other? If
Sure.
there is time, it would be to take a stab at the monitoring on Kohler Place.
Yeah.
Because that one's all ready to go otherwise.
Yeah.
We could
That
add
will
that in as
probably-
number 4.
Yeah,
I think, is it okay if I take out the Q1 and just make them all fiscal year 23?
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Okay.
If I could make one suggestion too, please. The John Carroll Reserve, that's the subdivision Curly Circle. That one's finishing up. I know for a fact that that one's probably going to be done probably hopefully in the next month or so. All the houses will be built out. So I feel like that one is probably important too, to get that one done if we can to some sort of point.
yeah.
Is when you say that it's done, does that mean that
The subdivision as a whole is just about complete. And I believe, and I apologize, I didn't go through and try to research all these. I know we have some draft CRs going back and forth between the town and the developer. I want to say that one might even be, the draft might even be complete on that one. I know Shaker Mill Pond, the draft is in process as well.
Yeah.
And I think I saw a draft that came in once for Air Solar 2, and I don't know what came of that. So I'd have to double check on those.
All right, so can I place a priority starting as Heather brought up? Because I agree, that's a good idea. So John Carroll would be number 1.
Don Carroll, hang on,
Okay, yep.
slow down. Don Carroll, John Carroll, yes. So, okay, so John Carroll Reserve is number 1 for a CR finalization and then baseline documentation.
I think we're getting yeses all the way across, actually.
Okay.
So if you want to put a 1 right in front of John Carroll, the words, the name or whatever.
Sure. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna add a column.
The column, okay.
Oh, sorry, hang on. Let me, actually, I think I right click, right? Insert,
Yep, insert.
column to the left. There
There
we
you
go.
go.
I can do it. Let's see.
And then-
Okay, so 1. Yeah.
And then I would say Air Solar 2, because as soon as they put those panels in and energize, they're gone. They don't have to
They're
wait
very-
for people to buy houses or anything, they're gone.
They're close.
The
And then
only,
I'd say-
the only issue there I'd point out, Mark, is that Shaker Mill Pond is actively marketing houses now. And the planning board had put in a requirement that they don't get occupancy permits without the CR in place. No, they have to do some wiggling there because the CRs can't be completed easily because of the state, but.
Okay, so yeah, so it's either, I was gonna say Shaker Mill is next, so I don't know. Heather, you were out there, I didn't go, I see some folks made it to Air Solar 2, how close are they?
Oh, that would be a best depending on who you'd ask.
But-
I do feel like Air Solar 2 is important to get done. Like I said, I'll go through and dig through files. I swear I saw an email that went prior to me with something about a draft, and I don't know what came of that, so I'll have to see if I can research it. I know Shaker Mill Pond, their attorney has emailed us a draft, and Jess has reviewed that, so that, I know the draft CR for that one is much further along. I don't think the one for Air Solar 2 is, but we can get that going, and I know the planning board holds a covenant on Air Solar 2, so that gives the town a little bit of leverage on that one.
Okay, so then let's do Shaker Mill as 2, sorry, and then
Yeah,
and then do Air
that would
Solar as
probably be
3.
better, just because we do have a
Yeah.
little bit of lever. I mean, the town holds a bond too for Shaker Mill Pond, but I feel like
Okay.
they're gonna be around in the developer is a little bit easy, it is easy to get a hold of and contact.
Plus,
Okay.
solar too can't go away once they turn the panels on. They have like 2 growing seasons
Yeah.
to, for their mitigation areas,
Replication areas, yep.
application, yeah. So
Alright.
they'll have to be around.
And then I'd say Panther Place would be 4, and then we would do Kohler as 5.
That sounds good.
Kohler at the top, Anna,
Yep, thank you.
and then we can just leave it at that.
I love it. This is good. Okay, so I'm gonna name this priority ranking. It doesn't fit, but there we go.
And then if you want to do it from a bulleted perspective down in the words there,
Mhm.
then the last thing could be, if funds are available at the end, then it would be just an assessment of everything else that we have on the list. Something like that, maybe.
2 S's at the end. What's this? Other properties and projects.
Yeah, for future year
And-
funding, for future
Yeah.
fiscal year fundings and things like that.
So that's kind of, I mean, I can add this.
Can you just add to that first bullet?
Yep.
That the expectation is that the columns above would be filled in with a yes, by the end of the fiscal year. That's the.
Yeah, so
the
just
target.
a clarification thing. The monitoring enforcement plan and the monitoring enforcement plan implemented. Now, is that who's going to do it every year and how it's kind of recorded in the town's systems, or where it's filed in the town systems, or because that, I think that's what I think of, but it's not like a standard way of talking about monitoring and enforcement.
But are you asking for what's the difference between the last 2 columns?
Yes, and also what is the deliverable for the plan? Like, what does the plan look like?
Jess, did you want to explain that?
You, like, what does it mean to you?
Well, I mean, the only experience we have of seeing monitoring and enforcement right now is Autumn Ridge, which they've been doing on their own with the homeowners association, but they seem to do a fine job. I don't know, these columns were added, I would have, I mean, the first question is what goes into a monitoring and enforcement plan?
Right.
I suppose it's, in the baseline documentation would identify photo points for documenting by photos different vantage points around a conservation restriction land. So it seems to me a plan would be, specifying that where photos, the same, so you get the same photos every year from the same spot to monitor changes for certain crucial spots.
Right, so, okay, let me back up a little. So the monitoring report, the annual monitoring reports are based off of the information that's collected in the baseline. Those are typically done annually, not necessarily, but that's kind of the best practices is annually. The monitoring reports have some standard information within them. They don't always take pictures from the same photo points every single year, usually only if there's a significant change.
Or, yeah,
So what I think, it's been a while since we created this, or since Joanne created this column or this table. I think it was sort of I think the intent of this, and please let me know if this sounds right, was to come up with, what's our standard for, does this are we visiting this property every year? Who's going to be visiting the property every year? If we find a violation, what are our policies and procedures for moving forward? So a lot of times you'll have an enforcement policy. So are we drafting that policy for you to look at and change and make your own, or are you, is there already a violation that we find that we need to come up with a plan for enforcing? Because sometimes that happens if you are going back in time to do the baseline long after the fact. Then you
Yeah.
find somebody's been mowing their lawn over the line for, 10 years, and you have to
Yeah.
reclaim that area. So that's sort of what I was thinking. And then the monitoring enforcement plan implemented would be, have we done that follow-up for each of those properties as we've gone to do the baseline? But you wouldn't do a baseline report and a monitoring report in the same year. The
Right.
baseline would be that monitoring report, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
I
you would
guess
get the baseline done, and then the year after you get the baseline done, you would go out and do the monitoring report for that.
So if you take a monitoring report that you've done in the past, basically I anticipate the enforcement plan being an explanation of how to generate the enforcement report, the monitoring enforcement report. So just as you described, the frequency that the report is generated and or the plan is implemented. So if it's annual, it's annual. You would identify, as you just described, Jen indicated taking the baseline photos and taking a photo of them every year. So no, in the enforcement plan, as you described, you would say, we're going to go to those same photo locations as the baseline documentation. And unless we see something abnormal, we will, take another photo. If everything looks up to snuff, you pass it by. But that would be described in the enforcement plan. So we could take that enforcement plan and essentially use it as an RFP to hand to somebody else to say, this is what we would like you to do. What would you charge us to do that? Or we as the Conservation Commission could do it ourselves, or we could send Heather out there to do it. But I think that would be the idea. Is it's basically that guideline as to how to develop, how to go through, do the field visit, put the report together, and then, as you said, if there are enforcement issues that need to be taken care of, that would also potentially be described. And it could be merely that, any violations are taken to the Conservation Commission, presented to them, with the Conservation Commission then figuring out how to enforce it. I think the monitoring and enforcement plan implemented would really come down to, and that's maybe not so much a deliverable for you per se.
It's a checklist for you.
It's really
Yeah.
just, okay, do we have somebody that's now moving it forward?
Right.
But we'd have to give them that plan in the second to last column to be able to make sure that it's implemented.
Right. And that's especially important if you come across a violation. Or what we call an incident or a potential incident. And I can go over all of that with you guys at some point. Okay, so now that I kind of get, the plan, there's going to be a generic plan, and then each property as we go through it may need its own kind of specific things, like, oh, this one, we're going to need to go every 6 months because there's activity that whatever. Or this one, it's the back line of already protected land. We can go every other year or every 3 years or whatever.
Yeah, they'll all have special conditions.
That's right. Okay. So that clarifies that for me. Thank you.
What do other commissioners think? That's just me.
A question that I had, I get, is this document that you have on the screen? Is this unique to Ayer? I mean, isn't this sort of is there not a boilerplate kind of a system that you guys use when you do your CRs and
Yes, but
monitoring?
we
Yeah.
don't, we don't call them monitoring and enforcement plans. So that's why I was trying to remember, this table came from Joanne at that time. So I thought that this was common language with you all. It's not common language for us. So I just wanted to make sure that what I'm picturing in my mind was what you guys are picturing in your mind. That's what.
Well, as soon as Joanne starts, it will be common language for you.
I
too.
know, yes. We can ask her when she comes.
What did you mean?
Yeah. So yeah, there's absolutely, there's standard, and I have to say that, there's, the Land Trust Alliance, has standards and practices, that the, all land trusts, all try to, adhere to, and certainly North County Land Trust holds ourselves to those standards. And there's plenty of templates, but there's also a lot of variety that's tailored to municipalities especially, or specific lands that might have special uses, or, depending on what the conservation restriction talks about. So you can have, there are standard forms, and then we would be tweaking it for Ayer.
Okay.
And do you have access, or can you give us access to those templates?
Sure. Yep.
So
Yeah,
we could see
absolutely.
sort of what you normally use?
Yep. I can send those over.
Because I just assumed that this was standard, what we're looking at.
To a large extent, it is.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, every single baseline and every single monitoring report will have a lot of the same information.
Mhm.
That's right. We also have started using a software program called Landscape Software. And it's a cloud-based system that helps store and generate reports, as well as doing mapping for baselines and monitoring reports. And if that's something the commission is interested in exploring for the municipality, that could be one way to standardize within the town and allow consistent data collection using mapping software and satellite data collection points. But I can talk to Heather about that.
Okay. Just curious, Heather, what are your questions?
Oh, right now, I just want to go through all of the files, see what I can find on these 5 that we have outlined as priorities, and see how much of it I can get together for them. So come July 1st, I can be up next Friday and go, here is what I found for these 5 priorities. And hopefully makes it easier for them to check those off. I mean, my experience with CRs was to the point where, I mean, I went on one monitoring thing with Sudbury Valley trustees, and I think we had a couple projects that required them, and it all got done, and I don't even remember anything much beyond the commission voting on the CR itself.
Mhm.
So I just really want to go through and get these 5, find what I can for them, and get those compiled together. And so we know where we stand on how we get these items done. And then I know at some point, yeah, walking the sites is going to be important, walking the boundary markers, which I know were part of the planning board's section of it. It might even be the conservation, that all the boundary markers are done to make sure those are installed. And how, I don't know if that's something that I myself do, or is that something that North County Land Trust will do, or who would he, or is that the developer? Like, I'm trying to think of that too, because I know we have CR markers that have to get put up, and all these subdivisions that have them, like, who puts those in?
That would be great to get the developer to put them in, or, you
Yeah.
know, the developer can
know-
pay the surveyor to put those up.
Yeah. So
I
that's
know when,
probably something that we gotta figure out too, sooner than later too, when some of these projects are getting built and the lots are being sold, that it'd be probably good to get those in. So I probably need to give Peter DeCarellis a call on that one if we have the CR in place, and see where those are.
I think For
Mm.
Those
For
done.
Panther Place, the developer was going to be putting those in.
Okay.
And
Yeah, so that's probably another thing we gotta get, I myself need to get answered. So we know where that goes, because that's, once the CR is in place, you get your baseline document in place, you need to make sure those boundaries are marked. It kind of makes it easier to get the implementation stuff done, because you're not having to remind the homeowners that, hey, by the way, there's this on your property you didn't know about because the markers weren't up.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Jen, what are your questions?
No questions. I think this has been a really helpful discussion, and I appreciate you kind of clarifying the difference between those two, because honestly, once you said it, I was like, wait, great question. All right, let's figure this out. So thank you.
How about you, Mark? You have additional?
No, I think we addressed everything, and I think if we get it drafted that way, if we could just get that circulated before it gets signed, that would be great.
Yep. How about you, George?
I think we're good. Yeah, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Jess?
no, I'm good.
Yep. How about you, Anna?
This has been super helpful for me. I
Agreed.
think, in our previous, I think there was like so much that was sort of in everybody's heads. Oh, we need this and we need that and we need this and that. And wouldn't it be, all the files and this and, it was, we want to be as helpful as we can with the expertise that we have, and having a real clear sense of where you're feeling the pinch the most, where we can kind of come in and maybe offer that support and that assistance right away is where I think we'll all be feeling good about.
Yeah.
So I do encourage everyone to make changes. Okay, this is required delivered, right? So this was the one that I highlighted when I kind of lobbed one of the drafts back, because again, it was like, what exactly are you going to measure us against in order to say, yes, North County's done a good job, or they've, dropped the ball on us or whatever. So, I want to make sure those are clear for us and that they're clear for you, so that we're not,
We're all on the same
not
page.
living up to expectations, right?
Yep.
So,
So
So
Anna, so I
that-
see those three columns, the CR, the baseline, and the enforcement plan, those being three documents, those are deliverables basically that we hope to peck away at.
right, yeah.
And I guess the one thing,
So, right,
just to be sure, Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I would, I may suggest that we, well, no, I take that back. Never mind. I was talking and thinking at the same time. Dangerous combo. Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
I was just gonna say that if at any time, any of the team is not quite sure, instead of spinning wheels and things, just drop it. Just send out an email, whatever. Hey, we have questions. We're not quite sure, where to proceed, how we should proceed. Can we set up a quick discussion? That's the best way to make the most efficient use of our dollars.
Yeah.
I see it time and time again where people get, like you said, get caught up in, so many tasks and how do we approach this? How do we approach that? And if we need to set direction, let's do that. And, again, we tried to do as best we could at the moment, setting the priority, but if there's something that's going to hold you up on John Carroll, instead of spinning the wheels on that, do we quickly go to number 2, or maybe we have to go to number 3 because number 2 is just not ready. So, if there's ever any questions, or any ever confusion, never hesitate to ask a question so that we can help to clear up any confusion and set the direction.
I love that. So I guess my last question would be, who is our point person? Our main point person?
Well, seems
Well, I
like,
think,
go ahead, Jess.
I was gonna say, I think ultimately it's gonna be Heather.
Right.
But I do have a question, in terms of developing the CRs, the actual document. I think my memory is John Carroll Reserve was finished because there was some rush to get it through a few years ago. I know Joanne and some other people did heroic measures to finalize it. I don't know if it's been recorded though. But say with Shaker Mill Pond, the lawyers send us their draft. And I recently just sent them back some big edits and some things they need to add. Is that something though that you would take over, going back and forth with the applicants? Or that's it, like, who's going to do that?
Yeah, we absolutely can, especially if it's, I think it's important for the commission to have feedback on that. And take a look at those conservation restrictions, but certainly, if you get a CR from the developer's lawyer,
Yeah.
certainly we can take a first look and a first stab on it.
Okay.
I guess I would go through Heather on that. I mean, Heather, what do you think?
Yeah, I think going through myself would probably be the best point on that, because then I can disperse it to the commission if I need to, or to Robert to go to our town council if it needs to go there. As I think, like I said, I believe there might be a few drafts. There's at least a rough draft of Ayer Solar 2 that came from the developer, whether it was from his attorney or not. I said, I don't know where it came from there, but I know I saw that email. I was like, that was interesting. And there might be something similar to that for Panther Place. So if I can find those, and if they haven't gone anywhere else, I would just shoot an email to the commission and ask if that's something that they want you to review, or if one of those members want to take on before you see it. Because I think those two might have a rough draft already that's been submitted or in process. The 1 and 2, the John Carroll and Shaker Mill Pond, those are either I want to say John Carroll's already in place, but I'm not 100%. So I don't want to say yes on that, but I'm almost positive. And I know Shaker Mill Pond's been gone back and forth a few times. So
And
I
I
would
could,
think that some of the more of the the rougher draft ones,
Mhm.
I could find and send over to you, to North County to have them take a look at if the commission's okay with that.
And I
Um,
could send the things I just sent to Shaker Mill Pond attorney. I could send that all on to you, Anna, as well.
I
Uh,
think it's going what you guys are comfortable with is if
Right.
the commission's okay with it, as far as them reviewing it, and it's just a matter of getting it through our town council and the developers council, then I don't feel like North County needs to be involved, but I feel like something that's more in the rougher draft form, since you guys see a lot of these, that might be important for you to see. And then the commission can review, and then it can go from there, because I feel like maybe you guys would have more input on what you think needs to be in there in that rougher draft.
Yeah,
I could be wrong on that, but that's just how I
Well-
see it.
mhm.
yeah, right, so. And I wonder, are they using the state template, or are they kind of coming up with, are the lawyers
I
all over the
know, I
place?
know for Shaker Mill Pond, when they did that one, and I only know this because I worked for the planning board, they took what came from, I believe, John Carroll Reserve, and they kind of photo fit that to fit that project. And I think Panther Place was gonna do something similar
Mhm.
to that as
That
well.
sounds-
So they're
that sounds
taking
familiar.
these open space subdivision ones, and they're kind of taking one that was done and approved and completed, and kind of retrofitting it to fit the current job that they're doing now.
Got it.
And
Whereas
the
their
state,
solar two is completely different because that is a solar project.
and the state looks like they just updated their model in May. So the one for at least Shaker Mill Pond does not reflect that. So I'll send you what I did on that. But another question, and this would also be for Robert, is the issue of, as we go forward with these more CRs with OSRD developments, the question of who holds the CR. Would that always be the Conservation Commission, or is that something North County would ever take on? Or how do other municipalities deal with that?
Depends on your
Mr.
bylaw. What, does your bylaw allow an outside conservation agency to hold it?
Yeah, Robert, you had a comment?
Mr. Chair, it's my understanding, and I'd have to check, because I don't have it in front of me. It's my understanding that, speaking specifically from the Ayer experience, it rests with the Conservation Commission. Now, does that mean that that can't be looked at and changed? And I'm not saying North County Land Trust per se, but I do know other municipalities in Massachusetts. There are some other options that, we could look in, but I'm pretty sure that as it stands now, the conservation restriction, legally, the custodian of that is the Air Conservation Commission.
So we would be the holder.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and that's why it falls to us to make sure that the monitoring and enforcement plan is implemented.
Right.
Mhm.
Did you have any final comments, Robert, that you'd like to make?
Mr. Chair, just very briefly, I agree with Anna. I think this has been very helpful to sort of refine this. What I would propose, because I'm a firm believer, as I think we all are, in next steps in moving this forward. I appreciate Anna making these changes tonight. If she would get to me tomorrow, we'll get the revised draft of this here, and I'd send that to the commission and Heather by the end of the day tomorrow. And then if we could get commissioners, comments, edits and so forth back, say by next Tuesday or Wednesday, I can put that in the email. It'd be nice to get this, at least signed and in place for July 1st. I mean, it's not going to be the end of the world if it isn't, but I think that's an achievable goal. So we would send the revised agreement to the commission and Heather tomorrow, and give folks till, say, Wednesday to get any, edits, questions, so forth in, and then I think we'll be in good shape.
Okay. That sounds great. Any other comments or questions from commissioners or anyone who is viewing and listening? All right. Then we will look forward to seeing the final draft or close to the final draft.
Mhm.
Make our comments and get them back to you, Robert and Anna. And if there's nothing else, we appreciate very much your time and looking forward to working with you and completing these CRs
Mhm.
in the manner they should be. They're very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you all sound like a dedicated and hardworking commission, and I have a lot of respect for that. So it will be great to work with you all.
It will be. It will be. Well, if there's nothing else, hope you have a good evening.
Thank you.
All right. Look forward to seeing you in the future.
Excellent. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
You're very
Thank you.
welcome.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.
It's nice to meet you, Emily.
You too. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. All righty. Well, that was a good discussion. And our next item this evening is a request for proposal, Stratton Hill Conservation Analysis. Let's see.
Okay.
Oh, yep, cover letter set out today or drafted today to be
Yeah.
sent out.
So we have a cover letter and a revised RFP
Mhm.
to approve or edit and or approve. And then hopefully the ideal would be to get this out tomorrow. We have 3 weeks between this meeting and our next meeting, so that's plenty of time to get the RFP out and get a response back from different companies, so that at our following meeting, we could pick the company we'll work with and then get that started. Next Tuesday is the first meeting of the planning board, first public hearing over the preliminary subdivision draft. And the planning board, Heather, you can remind me if I'm right on this, they would like to have our recommendation hopefully by the end of August, so that they can keep this moving along.
Yeah, that's what I remember as well. And just a point of clarification, just because I know people on this meeting that may take, it's not a public hearing, it's a public meeting for the preliminary subdivision.
For
Sorry.
the preliminary, okay, yeah. And that's in person as well, by the way. What do you say, Jen?
What did you, I didn't hear what you said, Jess.
Oh.
It's,
The planning board meeting next Tuesday is in person. It's not.
oh,
on-
in person. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Is-
so,
That's
while
by
the
their
planning board's
choice?
doing-
Is that
what?
by their choice?
Yep.
Okay.
So while the planning board's doing their site plan review, the faster we get them the recommendation for their process, the better, before they move into the definitive plan.
Mhm.
So, yeah, and this is a good time of year to be doing the peer review as opposed to over the winter, so. So basically, the question is, what do people think about the draft and cover letter and the RFP?
I didn't have any edits for the cover letter. I thought it was fine.
Okay.
Anyone else? George, thoughts?
I only had a chance to just scan it quickly, but I don't see anything wrong with it.
How about you, Mark?
I think the cover letter is fine. It looks good. The The RFP. Just a couple things. So in the scope of work under 1B,
Mhm.
there's a bunch of X's at the end. Jess, what are
Oh,
we-
that was just for me to note that I wanted to ask about that. My
Okay.
suggestion on that would be to just have it read, the analysis submitted is based on both old 2003 to 2005 and new data. Is this sufficient? Question mark. That's it. Jen was nodding. Are you muted? You're muted.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Can you? I don't know. I'm not understanding it. What exactly are you trying to say?
Oh, just cut out the most of the second line in the following. So just have that all of B say, the analysis submitted is based on the old data and the new data. Is this sufficient? What's their evaluation, basically?
So when you say seek new or independently produced analysis, in other words, let the peer reviewer come up with their own analysis? Is that
No,
what you're trying-
where are you? I'm not,
Still on B, the second sentence you just described.
okay.
Mark, if I may, what Jess, because I just got it. What Jess is trying to say is the conservation analysis is based on information gathered from 2003 through 2005. So basically that line just asking, is that information efficient enough or should there be more? And that's what the B is basically asking. Is asking of the consultant, is it the 2003 to 2005 data and is if what they submitted enough?
Is that what you meant, Jess?
Yeah, and is it enough for our purposes?
Mhm.
Which is to be able to do a recommendation for the planning board in a timely manner. I don't think we need to think about a wholly independently produced analysis. I think that's going too far for what we need in order to give the planning board what it needs. So, but basically asking the third party reviewer, is what we have sufficient? What do they think?
Okay.
And bear in mind, we'll be talking to them as well. So in that first meeting, we can embellish or not and clarify things.
Does that satisfy you, Mark?
I guess maybe the coffee's wearing off.
Copies, Mark.
I'm not understanding it. But as long as everybody else gets it, then I'm okay. It doesn't matter.
Did you have anything else that you wanted to bring up? It sounded like you had more than one.
I was just starting to look. That was just the
Yep.
one thing I had noted that I just didn't understand what we wanted there. No, I like number 5. Thanks for putting that in, Jess.
Oh, the National Grid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something that sometimes not weighted very well. So let's call that out. And so you did. So that's really good. So thank you.
And then number 6, the wetland delineation. Last week, Heather was looking at the new plans that were submitted and then also looking at the wetland delineation from the ANRAD. And it was hard to tell because of how they marked their new plans, whether it was using the right delineation. So
Yeah.
it was a good idea to suggest that.
Okay.
Good catch.
Yeah, that's Heather.
Yeah, it was a lot of coloring it. Well, it helped that I had just gone to training on that. So It's the only reason why I caught it. I'm like, I'm gonna look at this. I'm like, wait, that looks weird. So it was because of that. So yeah. I'm just trying to understand what came through you guys, because I saw what went through the other side of it. So
Yeah,
And
that's
then
good.
Mark Archambault would ask that we include making sure that all their permitting for MIPA, MISA, or any other reviews is up to date. So,
Just going back to number 6. The date in there, that's in the
Mhm.
future, and you got an extra hash mark in it.
oh yeah, and you're right, that should be 2021. June, oh, that should be 2020. Yeah, 2020. Good catch. Right, so Heather, I'll get that revised to you tomorrow. Actually, I'll send it to you tonight, first thing. It'll be in your office tomorrow, and then you can issue it away.
I will send it away.
Looks good, thank you.
On the cover letter, if there are any problems with the cover letter, just make sure you use John's signature stamp, so
Yep.
he gets blamed for anything.
Sure will.
Thank you, Jess. Anything else?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
this is Marion Stoddard. I'm participating by Zoom in your meeting tonight. And I
Good
have
evening, Marion.
Thank you. I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
And
please.
So, and this is about Stratton Hill, and I'm puzzled that Stratton Hill was listed listed as a property in which you were interested in having a CR. And so since Stratton Hill has not yet been accepted as a project, I'm curious to know why Stratton Hill was listed.
Oh, that's on the thing we're doing with North County.
Okay.
Can you say that again, Jess?
Oh, I think Marion's referring to our previous discussion with Anna Wilkins
With North
that
County.
we had.
That is
we had-
correct.
We'll blame this on Joanne. She had put it on there because it's eventually going to be coming up.
When
No, it's not permitted.
But
It isn't permitted.
But it may not be accepted as a project.
Right.
correct?
Could I interrupt? This is Ann Gagnon from Mass Fish and Game.
Yes, you may, Ann.
Thank you. I also wanted to mention that currently the developer's attorney has suggested that the open space set aside could come to the Mass Department of Fish and Game in fee as opposed to a CR. So I just throw that out there and give you the heads up.
And,
Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead.
and I would just say on that, I think they'd mentioned that to us at some point as well. I don't know the legal stuff on that. I do know that they would, because of the language in our bylaw, the bylaw specifies a conservation restriction. So that would be something the planning board would have to, and I don't think it would be a problem at all, but they would have to do a waiver on the language so that it wasn't referred to as a conservation restriction, but as a in fee or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just going back to Marianne's question, I would be comfortable in taking Stratton Hill off that table as part of the conservation agreement. If others are, let's not presuppose that if everybody else is okay with that.
I don't necessarily see harm in leaving it, knowing that it might not happen, and that would just leave room for all the other things that we talked about. But taking it off to me seems like, does that then mean we have to wait for the next contract? to add it back on if this does move forward. So I would rather leave it on there knowing that it might not happen than take it off and wish that it was still there.
How do you feel, George?
I think Jen makes a good point. I mean, there's no harm in leaving it there.
Jess?
I agree.
Yep, I think I agree as well. I understand the question, but yep. Doesn't happen, and there you go. Anyone else have any questions?
So,
Boy, this is
Chair,
weird.
I would just, my concern, I just wouldn't want it it being listed there to give any credence or support for it. It is for it's happening. That is
Well-
that the project would be approved.
Well, I mean, the stuff with North County Land Trust doesn't say that it's, it doesn't say it would be a CR or something like that related to the developer. It just says Stratton Hill. And theoretically, if the project got completely turned down and Fish and Game was able to purchase it, or the town was able to purchase it, we'd still be wanting to do something similar to a conservation restriction or something that protects it. So one way or another, we'd want to have that work done. But I'm getting feedback on the computer, but
No, I'm getting that too.
okay, but the work with North County Land Trust doesn't say anything about Dave Moulton or his project per se. It's just referring to the land.
Thank you for your response.
Yeah.
Does that help, Marion?
Yes, I liked the response. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Okay. So when will this, is this satisfactory to everyone?
It is to me.
Yes.
One
Yes.
last item, Jess.
Which one?
In the second paragraph of the scope, right in the first sentence, you do identify that conservation analysis as it pertains to the entire Ayer site. Can we say anything with regards to the I guess the interaction or interplay with other towns abutting land, that if that can somehow be included in the analysis, or is that overreaching?
I think that's overreaching because we have no purview to go on to other property.
Okay.
And but in eventually doing the baseline documentation, which is done between the developer or the owner and in conjunction with the holder, or in our case, if we're using North County, that they would be our representative on that. Once it came to doing that documentation, we would see what was needed. But I think the standard material that goes into baseline documentation includes comments on the abutting properties. So I think that would be standard inclusions.
Okay, all right.
But in terms of them going on to other property, we can't do that in this document.
No, I guess I wasn't expecting that. I'm just thinking, let's say looking at it from a satellite views and things, and any interruption of wildlife thoroughfares and things like that, could be described, as it leaves the
Yeah.
town of Ayer, but moves into Groton, let's say that, if they were to put a road in this portion right here, they'd be interrupting what can clearly be seen even from a satellite photo as a wildlife habitat, a wildlife thoroughfare, whatever, something like that.
Anything else? Okay. So this can go out?
Yeah.
When?
Ask George if we need to take a vote.
Oh. George, do we need to take a vote?
I'm not sure.
Shall we just do it to make sure, just to be on the safe side?
Why not?
Why not? Is there a motion to approve what would you call this?
Request for proposal.
Request for proposal for the Stratton Hill area.
Third-party review.
Third-party review. Want to make that? You should make the make the motion.
I'm just as we go along, I'm looking at what would I put in the minutes, so we should say that.
Okay, motion to approve the RFP for Stratton Hill for the third-party review.
So moved.
Second.
Was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
I
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, passes unanimously. Okey dokey. Our next item this evening are Conservation Office and member updates. Do you have any office updates for us, Heather?
Yeah, they have a couple things. Just one, I know when we had met last week, we talked about possibly setting the site visit date for Stratton Hill. Is that something you wanted to do this evening? I had spoken to Stan Dillis on what dates work for him on that. So I don't know if that's something the commission wanted to do. Unfortunately, he can't make it the next 2 Saturdays, but he said the Saturday, the July 9th would work, or he could do any other day during the week. Just gotta let him know if the commission was so inclined, if they wanted to set a site visit for that.
So Saturday, July 9th, is that what you said?
Yeah, because of having to stake the center line, the center point for the detention basins that are proposed.
Hmm.
He said he wouldn't have time to get that done before Saturday, which is 2 days from now. And then the following Saturday's 4th of July weekend. So the 9th would be the Saturday that would work best for him.
Mhm.
Other than that, I did ask if there's any day, like a later on a Tuesday night that he could do. He said he could do that anytime. He just, as far as a Saturday goes, he could only make it on right now is July 9th is the earliest Saturday.
Okay. What do commissioners think about that date of July 9th or Tuesdays? I can't do it this coming Tuesday.
Well, he wouldn't anyways. He's got to stake those.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Wait a minute. The following Tuesday, if
Is
it
the
was in the
5th.
evening, I could do it.
Where are we?
I can do the 9th.
I can as well.
9th would be better
What
for
sort
me.
of time commitment do we think the 9th would be?
Couple hours, wouldn't it anyway?
It started at 8.
Would that work for you, Mark, if we start at 8 o'clock?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we could.
Well, let's set it for the 9th at 8 o'clock. And Mark, if you have to bang out, then that's fine. You know, if you need to leave a little bit early or whatever, it's no problem.
I think the main area we definitely want to look at is along that slope to Long Pond and under the power lines. And then
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you,
I'll-
Heather.
I'll make note, yeah, I'll make note of that. And then other than that, I don't know in what detail the commission wants to know what I've been up to in the office over the last 2 weeks, but 3 weeks, after the last meeting was 2 weeks. But this, I've gone out and done a few random site inspections. There's one over on Mountain Laurel, looking at a shed location, which was fine. It's just going where an existing playground is now, so it's already a disturbed site and it's outside the buffer anyway. I did an erosion control inspection on Shelley Lane. And I've been just going through files, and we will be getting an NOI filing that's for a DPW project. Probably for one of the meetings in July. I can't remember which one they said they would make it for. I think it might be the first meeting in July, but I haven't seen it yet, so we will see. But they did request their butters list this past week because I saw that from the assessor's office. So other than that, I've just been reviewing plans, like I said, for Stratton Hill and Ayer Solar 2, because we were out there, and reading through bylaws and regulations to make sure I understand what it is that we're doing and what I'm supposed to be enforcing. So other than that, I don't know what extent the commission wants for an update, but that's what we're going through now and moving forward. Obviously, all of next week will be spent looking at CRs and getting all that information together for next Friday for when North County Land Trust contract starts. So,
Okay. I think that's
what did you have for lunch yesterday?
same thing I have every day: wheat bread with a veggie burger and some lettuce.
One thing to put on your reminder list
Mhm.
is because we're heading into July, and the Parks Department with their Peroni Park project,
Yes.
they decided they need an RDA for doing the demolition part of the project.
Okay.
And I think we might need to check in with them periodically to see where they are, because we don't want to hold up the project, but they can forget those details in terms of,
I can email Jeff and Jason to see where they are on that.
yeah, so we just keep nudging them periodically so they don't.
Okay.
forget
Yeah,
that.
I don't want them to get caught and be like, oh, wait, we needed this. Yeah, that's fine.
Right.
No, I can do that.
Any other updates from commissioners?
Mark has one.
We have signs.
We have signs. Are you happy with them?
I think so. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know, Jess, if I didn't try the QR code again though, so I'm not sure if that is just
Yeah.
us being old and not with how to use a QR code or what.
Ask Cindy because we have to put content in there, but in terms of scanning the QR codes, would they be activated? I would ask the guru.
Yeah, all you really need to do on a QR code nowadays is to take a picture of it with your phone. And the code will get centered in a little yellow, little yellow corners on it. And that would be the QR code, and that will direct you to the appropriate web page. And that
Well,
page is still up. There's just nothing on it.
Yeah, when we did that, it said like it wasn't working, either the site or the page we were going to, you needed to sign in or something to that effect. So it was like,
Oh, maybe that page is unpublished. Where are the signs? Are they up yet?
No.
no, not yet.
They're
But
at the DPW?
no, I took them. They're in my
Oh,
garage.
okay. Okay, so soon as I can, let me just, well, let me look at it right now while you guys have your meeting.
Okay, all
So
right.
if it asks for a login, it means the page has been taken down.
Okay,
So
so
I
that might be all that it is. We just need to like put it back up or something.
that and
yeah, so
reactivate it whenever
we
need
have the
to.
signs, we have the posts, I mentioned to Jess, is anybody interested in possibly this Saturday going out and actually marking with white paint the site locations again? I'm okay, doing it myself, but I don't know if anybody else wanted to do that. And maybe even trying the one up in Pine Meadow. But if folks have stuff going on this weekend, that's fine. I might have something that actually happens also on Saturday. So if this coming Saturday is not good, that's okay.
Mark, if it was in the morning or early afternoon, I could give you a couple hours for sure.
Okay.
The other thing we need to maybe divide up or something is we need to develop the content, because we don't want to put the signs up and have people flashing the QR codes and then what kind of a joke is this? There's nothing there. So
How long does that take?
to develop the content,
Yeah.
I don't know, as long as it takes us to develop. So what we might do is because I'm okay with writing, as you all know. And Mark likes to edit, but maybe if we all took a different body of water and just came up with educational points on them, nothing fancy, but what's like the history of Flanagan Pond, it was flooded wet meadow, created when and stuff. And then I could put it together into little narratives.
Oh. Well, I could do Flanagan's Pond since it's out my
Okay.
back door.
So Mark, you want to go through which ones we have?
Yeah. So we have Flanagan. We have Grove. We have Long Pond. Shaker Mill Pond. Sandy Pond. Pine Meadow Pond.
Oh, yeah.
And the lone holdout Notocoitious Brook.
So we have a total of seven different water bodies.
Correct.
Okay. So John's gonna do Flanagan.
How about the Nashua River?
Yeah, that's what I was.
We can't do that. We can't, we discovered that there's just too many hoops to jump through unfortunately, to put a sign on the Nashua River.
Yeah.
Maybe still
Unlike
read a blurb about it, though.
What's that?
what?
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe still read a blurb about it because it's such a
Yeah.
wonderful
That's
yeah.
a good, yeah, that's
thing
a
in the
good point.
town.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I would agree that
Island
getting
scenic rivers.
whichever body of water you write about, somehow or another identify how it gets to the Nashua River.
Oh,
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes good sense. Journey to the river.
yeah. So Journey to the River. So if people got me basic information, I could weave it into a narrative and then circulate it. And then we could all butcher it. Make me cry. And any volunteers for Sandy Pond?
Sure.
Okay, Jen's gonna do Sandy Pond. Well, let me just say, George, is there any particular water body you want?
I'll do Pine Meadow.
George? Mark?
I'll do the brook.
Not Aquatius?
Yes.
Heather?
Oh, boy. What are the choices? I'll do one. What are the choices? Sandy Pond?
Nope, Sandy Pond's been taken.
That's right.
Grove, Long, or Nashua River?
Or Shaker Mill Pond.
Let me do
Shaker
Shaker Mill Pond.
You want to do Shaker Mill?
Yeah.
Okay. You have to connect it to the Shakers.
Oh, I think I can do that.
Yeah.
I think I've even found some stuff in old emails on it.
How
Okay, I'll do
factual does this
that.
need to be, Jess?
What?
How factual does this need to be?
Hey, just do bullet points, like if there's anything you can find on how something was named.
But can I make it up?
You can make
Do
it
I need to
up.
list my references in what is it? What are the different forms? I can't even remember anymore.
APA formatting. for
APA
your-
format, thank you.
Yeah, just put bullet points of interest on that body of water.
Okay.
Sandy
Uh,
Pond is cold.
Yeah,
It
Um,
has water lilies.
I'll do Grove Pond. Well, I can do Grove Pond and Long Pond. And then maybe I'll jointly connect it to the Nashua River.
Right,
Okay,
okay.
okay. We have 3 weeks for that. To our next meeting.
So just going back to the markouts then, I might have the opportunity to do it tomorrow in the afternoon. But again, it's really only 10 sites. And I just need to paint a little bit of stuff on the ground to identify where DigSafe needs to locate.
Yep.
So I might do those tomorrow afternoon, so that I can call them in and do them on the website. So that within 72 hours, basically, I mean, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So by Thursday of next week, we could technically start putting signs in the ground.
I could be available tomorrow, Mark, after 2 until around 5.
All right, well, maybe I'll pick you up and we can go driving around, spray painting the ground.
I'm in.
Make sure you take photos also.
Yeah, I'm gonna reference all the photos we took so that we know where we're putting them. And then
Yes.
I'll take a picture of it. I think you can attach a photo on the website when you request the DigSafe. So that was gonna be my intent.
Okay.
Okay. Nice. It's happening. It's been a long journey.
It has.
Yeah.
And I
Thank you
think
so
it
much.
just indicated, well, so the DigSafe is only good for 30 days, I believe. So the one that we identified in Grove Pond by Peroni Park, by the jungle gym thing there, I'm not gonna mark that one out
Mm-hmm.
because it's gonna be a long time coming. So we're just gonna have to hold on to that one for a while.
Yep. No worries.
There's the other Peroni Park one though, down by the water, right?
Yeah, at the tip of Jen's finger.
Yes, in the photo.
We'll do that.
Oh, down there.
And the one by the community garden, we got that one. And yeah, I think those are the only real concerning ones. We'll try not to be too obtrusive when we spray paint the ground over there by Long Pond in the development.
Right on the sidewalk.
Big DS in the ground, on the pavement, on the sidewalk,
Yeah.
it'll be there for the next 40 years. People love it.
Just don't use any bad language.
Okay. Thanks for all the hard work on that. Anything else?
We finally have a shed. You all are welcome to come visit if you want.
You have a shed?
Yeah, it's red. It's pretty fancy. You can come see it.
A red shed.
Red shed, barn red.
Nice.
Little barn.
Yeah.
Well, we did a site walk today at the Ayer Solar 2, which was
How'd that go?
interesting. It went well. It went well. There's a couple of things we need to talk about probably in the future, but some changes that occurred, I think, for the better.
They finally buy hay bales.
They seem to need to do a little bit of work on their erosion controls here and there. Mostly they're in pretty good shape, it looked like.
I sent both Cal and Kyle an email this afternoon, thanking them for having us out on site, and looking forward to meeting them again soon and asking who I need to speak with about any concerns or questions that we saw on site. So I hadn't heard back from them yet.
Yeah.
But I did do that this afternoon.
Does that get copied to Rohit?
No, I said, I don't know who, because there is so many questions and he's not in the country right now. So if I don't hear back from them, I'm going to probably give them until mid next week and I'll probably then forward it on to him. Since I know they're there.
But they're cooking over there. They got all the solar panels in. And the road is started. I mean, it's not there yet, but the arch, that culvert arch, that thing is beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. We took some pictures of it and it's a thing to behold.
Wait a minute.
Can you
So, Mr. Chair, there is a great need for refurbishment of the sign that I think that the Air Greenway Committee and the Conservation Commission erected at by the little wooden bridge from the entrance at the transfer station.
at the transfer station?
Well, below the transfer station, when you walk from the trail down to
Oh, into Pine Meadow?
Rockingham. Yes. So it's in terrible shape. It really is. It's been destroyed. It's unreadable.
There is a need for some good signage in Pine Meadow. It could be done very nicely, but it could use some work. You're 100% correct. Everywhere.
So after we get Joanne's sign project done, that'll be our next one then. And the culvert for, guess you can see that.
Yep.
Yep. So that's what
The stream crossing.
yeah, in solar too.
Whatever's going to flow through there is going to flow easily.
Yeah.
Yep. Anything else?
Make the motion to adjourn?
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Well, do a roll call. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
I
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, passes unanimously. Let me know